Why being alone is the most powerful choice you can make. Stoicism. There is a quiet strength that most people overlook in today's noisy world. While society pushes you to constantly connect, engage, and seek validation, there is a deeper power waiting in solitude. Being alone is not loneliness. It is clarity. It is control. It is freedom. And when you begin to understand this, your entire life starts to shift in a way that most people will never experience. From a Stoic perspective, the world outside you is unpredictable, unstable, and often beyond your control. But your inner world, your thoughts, your discipline, your perception, that is where your true power lies. When you choose to be alone, you step away from distractions and step into mastery of yourself. You begin to hear your own thoughts without interference. You begin to see your life without distortion. And most importantly, you begin to take responsibility for everything you are and everything you can become. Most people fear being alone because it forces them to confront themselves. It removes the noise that hides insecurity. It strips away distractions that numb discomfort. But what if that discomfort is exactly what you need? What if within that silence lies your greatest breakthrough? When you are constantly surrounded by people, opinions, and expectations, it becomes easy to lose yourself. You start living according to what others think, what others want, and what others expect. But Stoicism teaches a different path. It teaches independence of thought. It teaches emotional discipline, and it teaches that your peace should never depend on external approval. Choosing solitude is not about rejecting people. It is about reclaiming yourself. In solitude, you begin to think clearly. You are no longer influenced by trends, pressure, or comparison. You make decisions based on reason, not emotion. This is where wisdom grows. This is where strength is built. And this is where you begin to understand what truly matters in your life. When you are alone, you also develop resilience. You learn to handle your emotions without relying on others to fix them. You learn to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. You learn patience. You learn discipline. These are the traits that shape powerful individuals. Think about it: the strongest people are not those who constantly seek attention. They are the ones who are comfortable in their own presence. They are not afraid of silence. They are not dependent on validation. They move with purpose, not pressure. There is also a deep sense of freedom that comes with being alone. You are free from expectations, free from unnecessary drama, free from comparison. You begin to focus on your own growth without distractions pulling you in every direction. Your energy becomes more focused. Your mind becomes sharper. Your actions become more intentional. And this is where real transformation begins. When you embrace solitude, you begin to build a stronger relationship with yourself. You understand your strengths. You confront your weaknesses. You set your own standards. You define your own path. And in doing so, you become someone who cannot easily be shaken by external circumstances. The Stoics believed that a person should be self-sufficient, not in isolation from the world, but in independence of mind. You can be around people, but not controlled by them. You can engage with the world, but not be consumed by it, and this level of control can only be developed when you are comfortable being alone. Many people spend their entire lives avoiding solitude. They fill every moment with noise, social media, conversations, distractions, anything to avoid facing themselves. But this avoidance comes at a cost. Without solitude, there is no reflection. Without reflection, there is no growth. And without growth, there is no progress. So while others are running away from silence, you should be running toward it. Because in that silence, you will find answers. You will find direction. You will find strength you never knew you had. Being alone also allows you to build discipline. When no one is watching, who are you? When there is no external pressure, do you still stay committed to your goals? This is where true character is revealed. This is where real power is built. It is easy to be motivated when others are around. It is easy to perform when there is attention. But the real test of strength is what you do in solitude. Do you stay consistent? Do you stay focused? Do you stay disciplined? This is what separates the average from the exceptional. Solitude also sharpens your perception. When you step away from constant interaction, you begin to observe more. You see patterns. You understand people better. You recognize what is important and what is not. You become more aware, more intentional, and more strategic in your actions. And with this awareness comes control. You are no longer reacting impulsively. You are responding with thought. You are no longer driven by emotion. You are guided by reason. This is the essence of Stoic power. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of being alone is the peace it brings. Not the temporary kind of peace that comes from distractions, but a deep, lasting peace that comes from within. When you are comfortable with yourself, you no longer feel the need to chase external validation. You no longer feel empty when you are alone. Instead, you feel whole. This is a level of freedom that very few people achieve. So the next time you feel alone, do not see it as something negative. See it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to reflect, an opportunity to become stronger. Because being alone is not a weakness. It is a choice. And when used correctly, it is one of the most powerful choices you can make. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you constantly surrounded by noise? Are you avoiding solitude? Or are you ready to embrace it and unlock your true potential? Subscribe to this channel for more powerful Stoic insights that will transform your mindset, strengthen your discipline, and help you take full control of your life. When you begin to truly embrace solitude, something subtle but powerful starts to happen within you. Your dependence on the external world slowly fades, and in its place, a quiet confidence begins to grow. You no longer need constant reassurance. You no longer seek approval for every decision. Instead, you trust yourself. And that trust becomes the foundation of an unshakable mindset. This is what Stoicism aims to cultivate, a mind that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. When you are alone, you practice this naturally. You face your thoughts without distraction. You examine your fears without running from them. And over time, you realize that most of what once disturbed you was never as powerful as you believed. Solitude strips away illusions. It reveals how much of your stress came from comparison, how much of your anxiety came from trying to meet expectations that were never truly yours, and how much of your energy was wasted on things that do not truly matter. In this space, you begin to redefine your priorities. You start focusing on what you can control, your habits, your mindset, your actions. You stop chasing outcomes that are uncertain and instead dedicate yourself to the process. This shift alone can change your entire life. Because when you focus on what you control, you become unstoppable. Another hidden power of being alone is the ability to rebuild yourself. When you are constantly around others, you tend to maintain a certain identity, the version of you that people expect. But in solitude, that identity can be questioned. It can be broken down and rebuilt into something stronger, something more authentic. You are no longer performing. You are becoming, and this transformation does not happen overnight. It requires patience, it requires honesty, and most importantly, it requires courage, the courage to face yourself without distraction. There will be moments when solitude feels uncomfortable. Moments when your thoughts become overwhelming. Moments when you are tempted to escape back into noise and distraction. But these moments are not setbacks. They are part of the process. They are where growth happens. The Stoics believed that discomfort is not something to avoid, but something to learn from. And solitude provides the perfect environment for this. It forces you to sit with your thoughts, to analyze them, to understand them. And in doing so, you gain control over them. You are no longer controlled by your emotions. You become the observer of them. This level of self-awareness is rare, and it is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. As you continue to spend time alone, you will notice another change. You become more selective about who and what you allow into your life. You no longer tolerate unnecessary negativity. You no longer entertain distractions that pull you away from your purpose. Your standards rise, and with higher standards comes a better life. You begin to value quality over quantity, whether it is in relationships, work, or even how you spend your time. You understand that not everything deserves your attention, and this understanding gives you a powerful advantage, because where your attention goes, your life follows. Solitude teaches you to protect that attention. It teaches you to invest your time wisely, to focus on growth rather than distraction, to build rather than consume. And over time, these small decisions compound into something extraordinary. This is how powerful individuals are made, not through constant activity, but through intentional solitude and disciplined action. There is also a creative power in being alone. When your mind is not overwhelmed by external input, it begins to generate its own ideas. You think deeper. You see connections others miss. You develop insights that can shape your future in ways you never imagined. Some of the greatest ideas in history were born in moments of solitude. Because when the noise fades, clarity begins. And with clarity comes direction. You start to understand where you are going and why. You stop drifting through life and begin to move with purpose. Every action becomes intentional. Every decision becomes aligned with your values. This is the kind of life most people wish for but never achieve, because they never take the time to be alone. But you are different. You are choosing to step into solitude, not as an escape, but as a tool. A tool for growth. A tool for discipline. A tool for transformation. And as you continue on this path, you will notice something remarkable. You will no longer fear being alone. In fact, you will begin to value it more than anything else. Because in solitude, you are in control. You are not influenced. You are not distracted. You are not overwhelmed. You are focused, calm, and intentional. And this state of mind is incredibly powerful. So do not rush to fill every quiet moment. As you go deeper into this journey of solitude, you begin to notice something that most people never realize. The less you depend on the world, the more powerful you become within it. This is not about isolating yourself completely, but about building a core so strong that nothing external can easily shake it. You stop reacting to everything. You stop needing to prove yourself. And instead, you start operating from a place of quiet confidence. This is the kind of confidence that does not need to speak loudly. It does not seek attention. It simply exists. And people feel it in a world where everyone is trying to be seen. There is immense power in not needing to be noticed. When you are comfortable being alone, you are no longer controlled by the desire to impress others. Your actions become authentic. Your decisions become intentional. And your life becomes your own. This is freedom in its purest form. Solitude also teaches you emotional independence. You begin to understand that your happiness is your responsibility. Not someone else's approval, not someone else's presence, but your own mindset and how you choose to interpret the world around you. This realization changes everything. Because once you stop placing your happiness in the hands of others, you take back control of your life. You no longer feel empty when people leave. You no longer feel lost without constant connection. Instead, you feel stable, grounded, whole, and from that place, you can build real, meaningful connections, not out of need, but out of choice. This is what Stoicism emphasizes. Relationships should add to your life, not define it. When you are strong in solitude, you bring strength into your relationships. You are no longer seeking someone to complete you. You are already complete. And that changes the quality of every connection you make. Another powerful shift happens in how you handle challenges. When you spend time alone, reflecting and strengthening your mind, you become less fragile. Life's difficulties no longer feel overwhelming. Instead, they feel like tests, opportunities to apply what you have learned. You become calmer under pressure, more patient in uncertainty, more disciplined in adversity, and this resilience sets you apart. Because while others panic, you remain composed. While others react emotionally, you respond with reason. While others seek escape, you face reality.